All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Padma Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances to you and all the devotees. All glories to Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj, all glories to Assemble devotee. This is Mohini Lakshmi from Detroit.
Mataji Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Let's move to the next session, which is Srimad Bhagavatam class. Today we are fortunate to have His Grace Radha Pramod Prabhuji for enlightening on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, 13th chapter, 38 and 40 verses. Before giving the call to Prabhuji, I would like to give to Parampavani Mataji for giving brief introduction about Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. Please take over the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear Padma Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Thank you for the opportunity of this seva. So today our speaker is His Grace Radha Pramod Prabhuji, who came to Krishna consciousness in 2001. He got initiated in 2006 by His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj. He completed his course, Bhakti courses from Bhaktivedanta Vidyapeeth from VVRC. His services, the services he meticulously renders are managing a preaching center in Hyderabad, training and educating corporate youth, giving daily sessions on Asta TV and other local channels, and conducting online Bhagavatam sessions for many devotee groups all around India. Here is a very brief introduction for our today's speaker. Over to you, Mataji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Please accept humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for giving your wonderful, beautiful time this morning for us, enlightening us in the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam, Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Whenever you are ready, Prabhu, please take over the call, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
I'll just share the screen. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhirayet Nashtaprayesha Vatreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Ruttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 13, and this is text 38 and 39, 43 verses we are doing. Kvachit alpam kvachit bhuri bhajanenam swad asvaduva kvachit bhuri gunopetam gunahinam uta kvachit shraddhayoparhatam kwapi kadachinmanavarjitam Bunje bhukva kshamam chaid divanaktam yadrichaya. Translation. Sometimes I eat a very small quantity and sometimes a great quantity. Sometimes the food is very palatable and sometimes it is stale. Sometimes prasad is offered with great respect and sometimes food is given neglectfully. Sometimes I eat during the day and sometimes at night. Thus I eat what is easily available. Kshumam dukhulam ajinam chiram valkalam evava vasenyad api sampraptam dishtabhukshutadhiraham. To cover my body, I use whatever is available, whether it be a lined silk, cotton, bark, or deer skin. According to my destiny, I am fully satisfied and unagitated. Kvachit chaidrasho pashte trinpashna sambasan pasmasu क्वचित् प्रसादपर्यङ्के क्षिपौ वा प्रेच्छया परेच्छया. Sometimes I lie on the surface of the earth, sometimes on leaves, grass, or stone, sometimes on a pile of ashes, or sometimes by the will of others in a palace on a first-class bed with pillows. Purport. The learned Brahmanas description indicates different types of birth, for one lies down according to one's body. Sometime one takes birth as an animal, sometime as a king. When he takes birth as an animal, he must lie down on the ground, and when he takes birth as a king or a very rich man, he is allowed to lie in first-class rooms in huge palaces decorated with beds and other furniture. Such facilities are not available, however, at the sweet will of the living entity. Rather, they are available by the supreme will, parechaya, or by the arrangement of Maya, as stated in Bhagavad Gita. Ishvara sarva bhutanam hiddeshajjana tishtati brahmayan sarva bhutani yantra rudhani mayaya. The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna, and is directing the wandering of living entities who are seated as on a machine made of the material energy. The living entity, according to this material his material desires, receives different types of bodies which are nothing but missions offered by material energy according to the order of Supreme Personality of Godhead. By the will of the Supreme, one must take different bodies with different means for lying down. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishnapristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatadeshatarine. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. I'm very grateful for this opportunity to serve all of you by glorifying Srimad Bhagavatam. This chapter actually is a very important chapter in understanding. First is it describes the quality of a sannyasi and the duties of a sannyasi. It is, if we carefully study, we'll understand sannyasi are essential as an anti-social element. The sannyasi is a person outside the society. It says that he should not read newspapers, and the previous verses is what he is living in a society, but he should not read newspapers. He, being an anti-social element and fundamentally, and he should be in the position of a sannyasi, but he plays a very important role, because if the society does not have this element, then the society will not function correctly. But in order, the main quality of a sannyasi which is described here is that he is which allows him to become a sannyasi is that his life, the highest goal is to understand the truth. And the meaning of existence of sannyasi is that who puts aside everything in order to achieve the single goal, the highest goal of life. You should not you should not have any other, you should not no longer have any other goals. That's the main thing. And he allows him to play a very significant role. And sannyasi can be defined as nirapeksha. That means this is the quality that a person in this world may have to achieve. But he should at least, we may not be able to do it, but he should respect it. And we'll try to understand what is this. This is actually means detachment. And the more a deeper understanding is that means this person is independent of the circumstances. We'll try to discuss this one point. What is nirapeksha? Means independent from the material circumstances. Means that I am not dependent on material environment, and I must protect and preserve this independence. Like no, and all this chapter, whatever situations we are seeing, no, he is not affected by what food he is getting, what type of clothing he is getting, what type of shelter he is getting, is not affected by any of these things. That is most important thing. Like where this is a very important understanding we have. Like if you go deep inside, think about the qualities. And nirapeksha means it gives the freedom. A person who has acquired this quality, independent from external circumstances, is actually a very free person. Because being conditioned by living entity, we are all actually tatastha. This is the property of the soul. Tatastha means that we accept the quality of our environment. Whatever position we are keeping, we accept the quality of the external environment. Like now, we are kept in certain environment, and voluntarily we began to perceive all these qualities and began to imitate and adopt to this external environment. So if a person lives in a very cold environment, then he start developing that cold feelings. He will become more impersonal. And if there is some space and if there is some very nice weather and all, he will immediately, sometimes the environment is very depressing. Like if it is very cold, then we don't want to go out and do certain things. We want to be at our room. I know we want to just have some relax or whatever, because it is very depressing. So that means we are affected by the environment. If you are in an environment where like no, somebody is in US, somebody is in India, no, people will, they say this, no, no, you got affected by the wind of that place. That's the saying in Telugu and Hindi also. So you get affected by the circumstances. You just feel the effect of it, and then you continue being that, like that person. Like say, in 6 months, like there is a saying, like you become what you are in that environment, whatever people you are associating with. And the qualities of external environment somehow penetrates us, whenever, whether we want it or not. And getting into these circumstances, finding themselves in these circumstances, obeying these circumstances, and imitate these qualities means we obey them. Now, I live in a society of some began to obey the society. I live in a society that somehow happens to be having certain principles, and voluntary or involuntary, and we suddenly lower the level of our qualities also. So if we are living in some situations where like people are okay with that style of dress and style of food, slowly we also start becoming like that. You come to an environment, like you go to Vrindavan, and everybody is wearing tilak. Automatically, who is not even a devotee, he comes there, he also feels that I think I should also put tilak. And like that, they get affected by the environment. They come to Vrindavan, they also start chanting, they'll put a bead bag in their neck, they put tilak and go. At least even the 2-3 days when they are staying, they want to look like a devotee. And they want to be in that environment. That is affecting them. They go to Mayapur and everybody is like Haribol. In Vrindavan, everybody is Radhe Radhe. And it affects, right? Now, because all these uh, elements of my lack of freedom. All this is a manifestation of my lack of, whereas a sannyasi, his main quality, his main task, the main mission in life is to preserve his freedom. Sannyasi must have a consciousness, and in essence, this is the spirit that everyone should develop. because sooner or later we all need to take sannyas. If not outwardly, it is necessary to take sannyas. It is not necessary to take sannyas externally, because all this sannyasi is an antisocial limit. It plays a certain role in society and it is a certain function or a certain figure in society. But even if we do not accept this externally due to certain circumstances, inside the spirit need to be developed for all of us, because this spirit helps a person to understand the truth. And this spirit of inner freedom or independence from the circumstances is actually very important, because independence for circumstances means that if one way or another the circumstances prevent me, if the circumstances prevent me from going to the truth, comprehending the truth, striving for the truth, if the circumstance contradict this, I must have the inner freedom to break these circumstances. Whereas when I submit to circumstances, I become attached to the circumstances, to my position in society and everything else. The spirit of sannyasi or renunciation means that I should always have the way out. I should never be trapped. A person who obeys the circumstances, tries himself into a corner and trapped in the endless results and the trap of this metal world, no, is like he ended up in a prison cell in which he plays himself. Sometimes he begins to bang his head to the walls. There is, they say this is, because you bang your head against the walls, in all the languages you have this. And think about what you will do in the next cell. So, but it is too late. We already put ourselves in prison. But a person who developed the spirit of detachment within himself, this is actually very glorious quality. You should always have this feeling that the door is open before him and no one can close the bolt. We can always get out of it. And we are not dependent on this all. We are not, because of our attachment. Like we are reading about Madhvacharya. He went to Udupi to Himalayas, Badrikashram, to meet Vyasdev. It took 10 years for him. That means he's just not interested in what is happening at my home, wife, children, family members. Nothing bothers. When he's traveling, he could have just few months, he could have reached Badrikashram, come back in few months. So maybe 1-2 years, maybe 1 year he could have finished the job. But he took 10 years. He's just traveling. He's not interested in what is going to be my next destination, where the people will respect me, where they'll get nice food, where I'll get some things to sleep. Not at all bothered. He's going with his disciples. Sometimes they have to stay in the forest, no facilities. Sometimes they will be very grandly welcomed in some village and where they are nicely hosted with nice prasad and all. And then sometimes they may have to, just survive on some roots and fruits in the forest. And not that, okay, what is breakfast, what will be lunch, what is dinner? No, sometimes only one time eating, finish. Just one time you get your meals before lunch time. And then rest of the day, you just have to do your sadhana of chanting, hearing, reading, whatever. No, that is actually what is a sannyas. So he is just interested in giving knowledge to others. His happiness is not in all these external situations. If you become slaves to circumstances, and if he's caught up with this, then what happens is world will always upset us. This is one important thing. The nets, the traps, there will be so many chases, and it is like a mouse trap. And there is some cheese is there, and with droplets of dew, Swiss cheese with droplets of dew, and there is some exuding aroma, and the person is very nicely trapped. Any person who tries to comprehend truth, the world will try to catch him. He will smear some kind of sweet thing and try to trap them. So this is actually very important, that Because Maya is always trapping. It does not want us to go away. It does not want us to be free. We get so many nice, Maya says, come dear, nice food, nice mattresses, nice prasadam, you know. And he also says, okay, there is somebody you can marry also. So that's how he gets trapped. And it is said that how the sinners are, punished in hell. And because in sin, in hell, there are no need of any boundaries. People don't escape from hell also, because others will pull them inside. That is how it is. When you want to run, we are boiling in this material existence and we want to run away. And people say, oh, how can you run away? Therefore, here we see in the society, like yesterday I was talking to a devotee. He said, Prabhuji, he just maybe within 1 year happened, he started his practice in Krishna consciousness, but very seriously practicing. So he said that all my friends and relatives became anti for me because I am always talking about Krishna. He said, you don't talk anything other than this. And he said, Prabhuji, now I don't care. No. This is actually what happens. Because we start not depending on all these things. Now they want to celebrate New Year parties. And unfortunately, so many animals will die, next to 2 days. Very sad actually. Especially, in Hyderabad here, lakhs of animals will die. Very bad. Just these 2 days are very unfortunate for many animals. But what can be done? We don't have any control. But people suffer because of it. And now, therefore, the society will always try to do this. Society will try to steal everyone to this. They want to bring them down. Because if you are not free from inside, we cannot understand truth. And it is not possible without inner freedom to speak about truth to anyone. Because if we lie to others, I cannot comprehend myself the truth. So this state is not possible without this feeling of freedom. Like Vidura, it is like Vidura, he was able to compare to Drona and Bhishma. Bhishma himself admitted this to Yudhishthir when Yudhishthir came to him and asked for blessings. When Yudhishthir came to him and says, my dear grandfather and my dear teacher, bless me. Give me the opportunity to defeat you. He said, Tadastu, they blessed. Be your way. And at the same time, tears came before their eyes. And Bhishma says, I fight on the side of rascals. Why? Because he bribed me. And who is saying this? Bhishma is saying. He is one of the Mahajans, a great devotee. He says with tears in eyes, money never serves anyone, but everyone serves money. And when the Yudhishthir came to ask blessings to win, and when Yudhishthir, the grandfather says, my dear teacher, he says, Tadastu. And this is actually even Dronacharya also says the same thing, that I am fighting for the wrong side. And this is one who is speaking Mahajans. Now, everyone in this world serves money. And everyone runs around. Everyone obeys the order. Everyone thinks, I will put the money in my service. But no, everyone serves money. And Bhishma says, I became servant of money. I was bribed. Therefore, I am forced to fight for this villain. Although he is a villain, I know he is a villain. And Dronacharya, when Yudhishthira approached him, he repeats the same thing. No, he is a Brahmana. Brahmana must not fight. Brahmanas can teach others how to fight, but they should not fight. And we say, do not feed the Brahmanas with bread. Let them teach others how to make bread. So Drona hired to the kings of the Kuru. Why? Because he was attached. Attached to whom? Attached to Ashwatthama. When Ashwatthama came running to him and asked, Dad, what is milk? Mother took some little flour in water and she mixed and gave him. He says, this is milk. And Ashwatthama drank and said, oh, it is disgusting. And Drona saw that his son, that he did not even know what his milk was. And then he went and got hired to the kings of Kuru dynasty. And what was the price that he has to pay? The payback was that he has to fight and die. When a person becomes attached, the payback for the attachment is what? The payback for attachment is death only. And as long as we have affection, that means we are all attached. That's why we are dying. Otherwise, we get liberated. And death, we will, and we are born to die because we are getting attached again and again and again. But Vidra, in the same circumstances, in the same situation, when Krishna came to Hastinapur as a messenger to Pandavas, and he said to the Duryodhana, Dhritarashtra, give them the kingdom due to them. Why are you not giving? He said to Dhritarashtra, give the kingdom. Because, and he clearly told, it does not belong to you. And for Duryodhana, he said to Dhritarashtra, no, get rid of your son Duryodhana. And Krishna says, and he said, get lost from here. He said, okay, I don't care. I don't want to listen to anyone. And Dhritarashtra's heart was beating with fear. And in order to calm down a little, he called Vidra to himself many times. So when people are scared, they want to communicate with people who don't have fear. Prabhupada's name is Abhaya Charana, who is fearless in this world. Why? Prabhupada was not at all attached. Only the one who, who can be like this, Bajahure Mana Srinandanandana. If we are taking shelter of Krishna, then we will be like this. So Vidra, unlike Dhritarashtra, he was fearless. And Dhritarashtra was asking, deliver me from fear. And Vidra said, very simple thing, no? Just, you get rid of your son. And later when everything is ended, then again he comes to Dhritarashtra and says, you are a fool. Why are you attached? Get out of here. So this is actually what he's telling. He's telling, give the land. You make Yudhishthira as the king. He is the rightful heir. Why he could tell all these things? Why Dronacharya and why Bhishma could not do? Because Vidra is free. That is the point. Of course, in one way, Bhishma had a different reason also. Of course, he is attached to his bow. And another thing is, he is fighting because he wants to please Krishna. And when he said this to get rid of Duryodhana became very angry. He said, throw him out, just leave his breath and everything is good. And Vidra calmly went out without even raising his eyebrows. No, he was not holding any insult for himself. This is also another thing. He is not telling, oh, I did so much service, this king drove me out, such an injustice for me. No, he said, okay. He was very calm. He calmly, because he's not attached, because he knows no one can bribe him. He lives and after, very happily, Krishna actually, because he spoke this, Krishna went to Vidra's house. Because when they want to feed Krishna, they gave banana peels to Krishna. And Krishna happily ate. Why love for Krishna? Because they are free. They are beggars. They didn't have much. Like in one way, they are not very rich. But still, they were not in the custody of Dhritarashtra. So Vidna had the right to tell the truth. Therefore, he retained within himself the inner freedom to speak the truth. And this is the greatest happiness of being able to tell the truth to oneself and tell the rest of everyone else. So the greatest happiness that cannot be exchanged for anything else. And then Duryodhana, he turned red and he vanished. He was telling, you are a son of a maid servant. The son does not understand. No, it is no, so many bad words he uses. But Vidra smiled and thought, okay, well, it is necessary how it is important to understand how the external energy is working, and he happily left. The point is that this is actually very important, that to understand the truth, to develop devotion for Krishna, we have to develop this internal freedom. That is must. Otherwise, it won't work. Maya is very powerful. So Vidra understood this is all external energy. He took his he just hang his symbol of royal dignity, and immediately he left. And then he went to Uddhava, he meets Uddhava, and then after that he meets Maitreya, and then he's very happy. He got so much knowledge, and is absolutely free to think about Krishna. That is very important. So when we become free from the external circumstances, then mind becomes free to think about Krishna. Otherwise, we already have so many things programmed already. So, and this is a very important understanding also. Everything else, whatever it goes on. Bhishma, Drona, everyone else. But Vidra thought about Krishna because within him, he had the quality of Nirapeksha. And this is a very quality that Narada Muni is describing here. He says that a sannyasi should not care about food, he should not care about the clothing, he should not care about any circumstances. You know, he generally walks naked in that times, not now. Now they'll put in prison, they'll consider it as a public nuisance. And this is actually in order to save freedom. Then he explains various manifestation of all these qualities. And very important thing, how due to the limitation of human consciousness, due to the feeling of insecurity, which we have until we have united with God, this feeling disappears completely when a person feels connected with God, because he feels completely protected. Otherwise, a person always wants to take refuge in something, someone's protection. Like Samashritya, like he whose patronage we should not accept. Like we should not be under somebody else's protection. We should be directly protection of Krishna. We should not take protection of Ashas Shastra. Like all these Asat Vartas, Asat Shastras, Asat so many unwanted things. We should be interested in Sat. Sada samudvigna dhiya asat grihayat. Prahlad Maharaj stage 2. Hiranyakashipu, we read this shloka. Asat grihayat. You are holding something asat. But we should be holding only Sat. And it is said that a Shodnani should not earn through astrology also, should not earn any living. Because these are things that people earn. Sannyas should never earn. Vedic culture gives a lot of Vedic things that always demand in society. They how to be Krishna conscious, because the mind should be focused on something higher, and that don't work on the comforts of body and mind. Just work on meditating on the Supreme. This is standard. Then it is actually very high standard. If you preach Krishna conscious, then in this style nobody will come. Prabhupada has to go to America and give. And of course, he did not preach any astrology or any yoga or anything. He directly gave Krishna conscious. He was very, very. He knows actually. Prabhupada knows so many brilliantly. He knows Ayurveda. He knows so many medicines because he was having his pharmacy also. But he did not do any of these things. He just preached pure Krishna consciousness. He did not depend on any of these things, astrology, Ayurveda, yoga, to attract people. He was just depending on Krishna. That is Prabhupada. And there is people are using nowadays all these things, but not needed. And also, this is all asat. They are not. The sannyasi should not take shelter of any of these things to earn money and all these things. No, it is he should not have any of source of income. His source of income is Krishna. Maintaining neutrality. This is very important thing. And there are so many proper disciples. They may be women and men. They may not have taken sannyas, but then the level of sannyas is absolutely stunning. No? Like they're completely immersed, not affected by what is happening around. And like that, we have so many devotees. We should take inspiration from them. And so now when there is any dispute between devotees, we should not prove who is right. Because Krishna does not need our righteousness. Krishna does not need, that means we should not depend on. What he needs is humility is needed. That is actually the right thing that we have to develop. So sannyasi is very humble. That is actually one of the very important quality if you want to develop freedom from all the circumstances. Krishna needs humility from us. And why does a person have a right to, if he lives because he lives by this principle, then he becomes immediately free from all the situations. And we will try to, and of course, one important thing is here in the Prabhupada is writing in the purport. This is actually different types of births. For one lives down according to one's lies down according to one's body. Sometimes one takes birth as an animal, sometimes as a king, then he takes birth as an animal. Now here one more important thing. So here now we have this conditional reflex and unconditional reflex. It must be said that there is a system for training our behavior. This system for developing conditional. Whatever the people they understand is there's something called programming ourselves and behaviorism they call. I'll try to explain this. Like say for example, digestion. Digestion is called unconditional reflex. Heartbeat, breathing. We are not conscious about it. We consciously breathe only when we do pranayama. We make no conscious effort to digest. Even the sexual reflex is also unconditional reflex. So these are considered as animal reflexes, which are recorded deep in the layers of our subconsciousness and in the spinal cord. It is a brain stem part. Now, the less developed a being is, the more his life is determined by unconditional reflexes. Like animals, like a cow will behave like a cow only. It will never behave like a dog. It is conditional reflex. Dog will remain like a dog. It will never become a cow. Its behavior cannot be like a cow. It is fixed. That is called conditional reflex. And they don't know how to act otherwise. But that is unconditional. But there is something called conditional reflex. To the extent that a creature moves up the evolutionary ladder, its consciousness develops or the body gives its greater opportunity for manifestation of consciousness. So accordingly, there is free will is given. The more important the acquired condition, it helps it to begin to learn or change its behavior. So that opportunity is given for the humans only. More we are elevated. So what happens is, conditional reflex is not inherent, unlike unconditional reflex. This is something that we have learned, what the environment conditions us or taught us. Accordingly, they turn into unconditional reflexes. Like I'll explain, make it so simple. Conditional reflexes do not arise every time. Like man is the top of evolutionary ladder, at least among the species of life that live here on earth are available to our perception. Of course, there are higher kinds of life also, but in proportionate to these conditioned reflex in human behavior is much greater than the behavior of animals. That means we need to learn everything. Animals now no need to learn everything. They are already born like that. But for us now the freedom is there to learn. A lot of things need to be learned for us and become a separate personality, whatever we want. That freedom is given to us. So we perform a very small number of functions without learning. But many of the things we should learn. A person need to learn everything, starting from the most elementary thing of how to go to toilet. That is also be taught properly. Animals no need of any teaching. And this is an advantage of a person, because a person endowed with a developed mind can evaluate these reflexes and which are arising in him and learn something new and completely change his behavior, and the person is free to replace his behavior. Because of this freedom, we can become more lower than animals also. Sometimes human being is more degraded than an animal. Sometimes he can be in a very highly elevated position. So we have this choice whether you want to live like Bhakti Maharaj. He says like, no, oh, people are working like a donkey. Then he says, no, it's an insult. It's an insult to a donkey, because donkey also don't work like that. So he says like this is more degrading than the animals also. Sometimes he kill his own species. No animal kills their own species. Humans only does. We can be more dangerous than any carnivorous animals. We can be more greedy. We can be more lusty. All the thing can be. Why? So why I'm telling is this freedom is given. Now we should utilize this freedom to become free from the circumstances. Which option is there for us? Now what happens is we get addicted to all these things in this world. And then they become a blockage for our growth. Instead of making ourselves free, we become conditioned. We become conditioned to tea, coffee, television, smartphone, digital addictions, and so many big list is there, which are all making. And these are all caused by our karma. An irresistible desire, a very strong desire that overwhelms us and deprives us of our free will. These strong habits or addictions or whatever we have to this world, the attachments, they are the enemy of a person on the spiritual path. An enemy that deprives him of freedom necessary to modify his behavior in such a way that he would eventually reach God, become closer to him, and do something not determined purely by some kind of conditioned or unconditioned reflexes. Because what happens in general, all these things, people, they become so self-centered. They become so egoistic, ego-centered. Because they're focusing on themselves. They should become free from this conditioning. Then only it is possible. Because any spiritual practice is meant to give a person freedom. Spiritual practice means freedom. Where is the freedom? Internal freedom, not affected by what is happening around. Even little bit here and there, somebody said, oh, you are the most stupidest fellow. Your class is the most dumbest class. Oh, somebody said like this about my class. How can they say? That means I'm so much dependent on it. It don't work like that. We have to become free. That is actually the main purpose. The spiritual life means it is it is for freedom. And we have to work on our freedom levels. And then this is what the whole teaching is, how to make us free. And the sadhana bhakti, the first 10 are the principles which are given in sadhana bhakti. When a person take refuge of a guru padashraya, and he should take diksha, siksha, and then no, he should serve him. All these things are meant for what? It is meant to make ourselves free. Instead of depending on all these things, we should start depending on all on a spiritual level. And we start identifying indifferently. Okay, I will not take that topic. Yeah, how we travel from one body to another. It is based on our subtle body. What happens is that this is the all the impressions are stored in our subtle body and takes us to the next level where we are. It is not actually it, we can easily know what type of body I'm going to get. But generally what happens is people end up in the same situation again and again because they didn't change themselves. We change our consciousness, then only we will get elevated, because our position in this material world is based on our consciousness only. So different species in different planets are based on consciousness. So now we have earthly consciousness. That's why we are here. And then within the earth also you have humans, you have animals, and so many varieties. So in that way, we'll end up in different places. And such facilities are not by one's own sweet will. It is the arrangement by Lord. Karmana daiva netrena jantur dehopapadyate. And striya pravishtodaram umsam reta kanashraya. It is said that we enter into the womb of mother. Karmana daiva netrena. By the divine providence, the will of the Lord. And then we are caught up here, happily wandering from all species. And this is actually a mission which is given to us. And then this is a karma for us actually. This body is a karma. And as long as this karma is there, I have to be in this body. So once the karma, this type of karma, this body type of karma is exhausted, then I am given a different body. We cannot end it. So according to his material desires, receives different types of bodies which are nothing but machines offered by material nature according to the order of Supreme Personality of Godhead. By the will of Supreme, one must take different bodies with a different means for lying down. And we end up in a very distressful conditions. I will just take few more points. So the point here is the conclusion of all these things is that we have to become more free. Just like here, this person is just lying at one place and becoming fatter and fatter, and the only thing is like he's not affected, by all these external circumstances. and he's not slave of anything. Nirapeksha, which are many devotees are like that. No, there are many such wonderful devotees. We should take their association. And how to develop this quality for a family person? It is easy for a family person to develop devotion. He should teach his wife about it, and the wife will teach to the husband. And this is, I'm just telling. Even a family man must develop the spirit of independence. Naturally, he must understand that they depend on this, and he must fulfill his duty in relation to others. But at the same time, in the quality of nirapeksha means that I am doing my duty, but at the same time, I do not expect others to do their duty. It is not that I should teach my wife and husband teaching wife is teaching. No, it is I do my things, but I don't depend on their actions. In material world, material society, a person often fulfills his duty, but at the same time, he thinks that I should be rewarded for it. In the form that everyone else, having seen how I am doing duty, will also learn to do their duty. I know a person, and he start expecting internally. And this is actually not the quality. The not the expectations of the result of his labor or the fruits that will actually make him detached. And Krishna calls this as detachment. Anashrita karma phalam karyam karma karotiyah. Anashrita karma phalam. So this is actually what we have to learn. And 18th chapter also he says that when a person simply renounces the fruits of his labor, a family man cannot renounce his fruits of his labor, then he will not be able to fulfill his duties, because his highest duties cannot be fulfilled. Attachment to fruits of his labor, he acts because he needs this, all this. See how it happens is, if we are doing activity for the sake of activity, then will not be affected by the result. But if we are not doing the activity for the sake of doing, then we will do only for the result. I don't like the activity, but I am still doing. That means I want results. But I don't, I may not, I'm liking the activity, then I will not be interested in much fruit. So in that way, it is safe. And this is actually inner spirit of a sannyas, that any ashram person can be there. And Krishna condemns, all times condemns that the detachment should not manifest its externally. It's not external detachment. The manifestation is some, it should not manifest in some kind of restlessness or external things. Its renunciation is the renunciation of fruits of labor. This is not fanatism or stupidity. It's he should not be emotionally dependent on all the situations of this material world. You should not be emotional and allow these situations. You should not allow these situations to interfere with his spiritual practice. And that's actually what is Arjuna. He began to fight, and his son got killed, Abhimanyu. Just 16 years old. Arjuna was heartbroken. But this inner state did not prevent him from fighting for Krishna. He was not discouraged. He continued to serve Krishna. So this example is given of Nirapeksha, that of Arjuna, which Acharyas give, that his inner detachment means, yes, I do not become a stone inside. It's not that Arjuna did not cry whenever. He soft-hearted. He reacted to all these things. Arjuna heart pained, it ached. But this pain did not prevent him from continuing to fulfill his duty to his own service to Krishna. So this is actually, this material world, pain will come. A devotee should not mortify his pain. He should not grow a corn on his heart so as not to feel anything. No, it's not the essence of devotion. A devotee, on the contrary, is soft-hearted. He responds to pain and suffering of others, but at the same time, all these emotional states do not prevent him from fulfilling the highest duty. Not it prevent him from remembering Krishna. So he brings all these emotional states to Krishna to serve him. This is actually very important. Uh, we'll take some questions. If you don't have, then I'll speak something.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, such a wonderful class, Prabhu. I see from Parampavani Mataji has raised a hand. Maybe Mataji, you can go ahead
We'll
with question.
summarize the class.
Yeah. I took some points, but Mataji, go ahead with your question, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much. I had the question one that you just like responded, that how we want to we can practice nirabhikshata in daily life. But other than that, I have another question. Is that nirabhikshata is called Jivan Mukta stage, or it's like not like can you, is that nirapekshata called Jivan Mukta stage or no?
If he's practicing, if he is on that level, then he will be considered as Jivan Mukta. He is detached. He's Jivan Mukta is completely Nirapeksha. Some may be on the way up, some may be little bit Nirapeksha, not completely. Practicing Nirapeksha. So he may not be 100% Jivan Mukta.
Gotcha, Prabhuji. And another question I have, that like as you mentioned, in case of Bhishma and Dronacharya, they were attached and respectively to their woe and to son, right? And in contrast, Vidura was not attached to anything. That's why Vidura didn't feel that he has a responsibility to fight in favor of Guru. So this is because of his internal freedom. That's like, is that correct, Prabhuji? It's my understanding correct? Like, I couldn't understand like how Vidura like didn't fight, and because he was internally free, and he didn't, although Vidura was also financially dependent on Dhritarashtra, like Bhishma, right, Prabhuji? Like, can you clarify?
No, I will tell. Actually, he was not dependent. That's why he didn't have much money in his house. When Krishna came to his house, they were having only bananas to feed him. And that also they didn't give the bananas. That's a different thing. But the thing is, they didn't have much to give. And that means Vidura is not dependent on gurus for their maintenance. That is the first thing. Another thing is, he was thrown out of kingdom before the war started only because he was telling the truth. He is detached. That's why he is able to tell the truth that you are doing wrong. You should not do like this. You should give the kingdoms to Pandava because they are rightful heir and make the Yudhishthira as the king. Whereas Bhishma could not tell this to Dhritarashtra. Drona could not tell. Only Vidura could tell that. Vidura told it very clearly, and because of his telling, he was thrown out. And he is okay for it. Okay, I'm thrown out, but I'll tell the truth. Because he's not dependent or what will happen if I'm out of the kingdom, what will happen to my family, my house, this, that. He is not bothered about it. Is this the truth? I am taking it. Because he spoke the truth, Krishna is so pleased. He said, I'll go to Vidura's house. So that means what happens is, if you are free, you can understand Lord. If you are free, you can understand the truth and you can speak the truth also. I want to reach Krishna. That means I should be free from the dependence on the circumstances around me. Then only it is possible for me. So at one time, one part of our life, we should reach that level where I am not affected by what is happening around. Then it is possible for me to understand the absolute truth. Otherwise, not possible. We just are caught up here.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. That's really clear. Thank you.
Yeah, that's why Vidura could get association of Uddhava, Maitreya, and then he could understand more Bhagavatam, and then he made more progress because he got that opportunity.
Hare
Thank,
Krishna.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
Revati Mataji, please go ahead with your question, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you, Hare Guru Prabhu. Prabhu, detachment is so in the earlier class, I think we had this that in your own house you can be slowly detached. For example, if there is a very comfortable bed and I'm attached to it, which I actually am, and then I asked a devotee and thought, should I then not be so attached to this very comfortable bed? Should I be having a little austere bed? And what they said is that no, you need a good night rest. Would that be the right way to gently start austerity? A little bit austerity, a little bit detachment.
Not
Silly.
like that.
No?
Not silly. It's actually you are trying to understand. It's good you are trying to understand. The point is that it's not, you may need on a physical level some things. Like now, say I am taking, now I can take cold water bath here in Hyderabad, even though it is winter, it does not matter much here. But if I go to Vrindavan or if I go to Delhi, North India, I cannot take cold water bath. My body will not cooperate. I'll become sick. So now detachment is not means I have to take cold water bath. Even if I went to Haridwar and Rishikesh, Char Dham Yatra. I was taking every day hot water bath. When I come to Hyderabad, I don't take. So you have to go according to your body limits also.
Okay.
Your body needs some things. You go extra beyond your body limits, then is also it is very harmful.
Okay.
What is more important is that we sometimes you may not get that time we should be okay with it. That
Right.
is more important. So now you have okay, and no, we should not be like no all the time in a luxury situation. Sometimes you may have to come to Vrindavan, stay in some simple places, and then you be happy. And sometimes your body may need some facilities. You can go with the bodily facilities, but it should not be luxury. You should know the difference between comfort and luxury. We should
Mm.
have some comfort because material comforts helps you to be spiritually also be little stable. Like say now I know that I have my breakfast, I know my lunch, my dinner is there. Then I can peacefully chant and say I don't have
Yes.
any. Then it will affect my chanting. Array, what will happen? Whether I'll have lunch, breakfast, dinner. So that is actually important that we at our level we need some material stability also. So some facilities. For us, no need to separately try to work for a detachment.
Mm.
Detachment is a byproduct of bhakti. No,
Yes.
Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojata Janayati Asu Vairagyam Jnanam Chahadaitikam. Vairagya and Jnana is a product of bhakti. No need of separately cultivating only. No need of thinking about it. It will automatically come. But we should have that aspiration. Okay, let me be detached. But no need to do anything separately.
Right.
Just have a desire to be detached from all these things. One fine day, let me just go to Vrindavan, be in Vrindavan, whole day, let me chant the name of Krishna, whole day, let me hear about Krishna, whole day, let me do kirtan for Krishna, no, not caring for all the things. No, when that day will come. So the aspiration should be coming more and more. Like when you are chanting, we should be always want to be with Krishna. Krishna is there in front of you, you are there and you feel now, let me be with Krishna for some time, at least 2 hours, let me be with Krishna. No other thoughts, no other things. That is actually detachment for us. If you are
Right.
able to avoid all your thoughts, 2 hours of your chanting, and you are so happy be with Krishna when you are doing arati, you are so happy cooking for Krishna, you are so happy that I am getting opportunity to hear about Krishna. That is detachment for us. Don't allow enter any thought in our mind when you are with Krishna when chanting. You are a detached person, Nirapeksha. Like that.
Lovely.
No.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. I was quite ready to get rid of it. but I was told not to, Motherdy. You need good night rest as well to be able to perform your, worldly
That's
duties
fine. You,
and your
when you are
temple
sleeping,
duties.
if you are able to sleeping, you are able to think of Krishna when you are going to bed. You are
Yeah.
hearing Kirtan while you are taking rest, and when you get up, you are already started. Immediately, the first thought comes is Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and then you are fine. That's fine. That's actually detachment.
Yes. And Prabhu, a little question, if you don't mind. This astrology and things. I think I heard Sri Prabhupada's lecture that he said you can do the needful. We don't, as practicing or starting out, and we may not ask for ourselves, but if it were for your family member or their health or something, would it then be okay to consult someone? And if you do consult, then they'll say, well, you know what, this is what you need to do. Is that a right thing to do, or should you only just say, no, I am depending on Krishna's
They are
mercy?
not devotees, they don't have pure devotional faith, then you have to consult and you can do whatever they are telling astrology. But for you personally, no need.
No need
If
to. Yes.
Yeah, for personally, no need. But if your family members, if they don't have pure devotional faith, see only two things. Either Krishna controls or material nature controls. And Krishna controls directly whoever he says, please control my life, he says, I will control.
Yes.
He need not be a 1600 devotee. You just have to tell to Krishna, I will not go to anybody. I'll come to you, you control me. Krishna says, fine with me. So no
Yes.
karma for me.
Correct.
When we don't want Krishna, then he only comes as karma. So either directly Krishna or indirectly Krishna. So karma is indirectly Krishna's hand only.
Amazing.
So if you directly relate to him, he says, "Ye yataman prapadyante." I'll directly relate to you. And I don't want you, then he say, okay, fine with me, because there is no option for us. We have to be connected to him either directly or indirectly. Indirectly is law of karma, directly him person. You want him as a person, he will deal. He says, okay, then he says, okay, take law of karma, it will deal with you like that.
Yeah. Perfect, Prabhu. Thank you very much for your patience with me. Thank you.
Huh?
Hare
Okay.
Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, please go ahead with your question, Prabhu. And then Hemani Mataji.
Thank you, Padma Mataji. Thank you, Radha Pramod Prabhu. I
Right,
always
sir.
feel happy to see you and the way you take class. Awesome, Prabhu. Prabhu, this is not from related to this particular one, seventh canto. You're telling about Vidura. Vidura, he did so much service for his brother and he was so good to Vidratrashtra. And when he was when actually Duryodhana was not listening to Krishna, so Vidura said that you are talking against the Supreme Lord, and he got annoyed and he said, you are an infidel, you are a Dasiputra, you are Namakharam, like that. He shouted so many bad things about him. So Vidura would have definitely felt bad that his brother also did not open his mouth. Okay, Duryodhana has spoken something bad, and he said, get out of this place, just take a breath and go out. At that time, Vidura could have easily gone to Krishna because Krishna came and had prasadam in his house. So, but he went for Tirtha Yatra. So, I want to know that why he couldn't call Krishna at that point of time.
The important thing is that we can experience Krishna more in the association of devotee than direct Krishna. At our level, we feel more Krishna's presence when we are in devotees, when we hear from him, we can feel more connected to him, more close to him. That's why devotees are more important for us. Even indirectly say, I stand in front of deities, they're directly there, Krishna. But how long I will stand there? After some time I get bored. I say, okay, chalo. But if I sit with devotees and discuss Krishna Katha, I can go for hours and hours. If I sit in Kirtan, I can go hours and hours. So, in the association of devotees who love Krishna is more important for us than directly Krishna. Deities, I can have some time, do some arti, dress something, and after that, I want something else. But devotees, so that is actually very important. So, Vidura understood that I need association. So he was with Uddhava, he was with Maitreya, he was with other saintly people. That made him more closer to Krishna than
No,
directly
at
going.
the time Krishna was in Dwaraka. No, he could have gone, but he
He
said,
could have gone. The
I'm
point
not purified.
is,
I want to go for purification. Like that, he felt humbler to go and do all these things. No,
that is one part, but more important is he want association. Who loves
devotee
Krishna
association.
wants to hear from them. That makes us more closer to Krishna.
And another wonderful thing, after everything happened, Mahabharata is over, all the Pandavas are, Kauravas are dead. He again came back having mercy on Dhritarashtra that why are you just again eating the food here? You know, you were so envious with all the Pandavas, you wanted to kill them, and now your sons are dead, still you're coming and having food. So that means he's still having affection for his brother. No, he didn't hate him. He could have rejected him, "Jo bhi karne do apne kya," because he already didn't have any respect for Vidura. No, but he came all the way to. So, what is this quality?
Because a Vaishnava, he feels compassion. He knows my brother, so that still some soft-heartedness is there for his own brother. Like we feel for our family members. So he, because he was there with him for so many years, and then he felt my brother, he should be delivered. So that is an advantage to have a family member as a devotee in the house. So he will give extra compassion to the family members. He will go out of the way to help the family members. So there is an advantage like that.
But
So Vidura
Dhritarashtra
also
was really cruel. No, he could have opened the door. No, that if you just kept quiet for everything, he shouted at him, infidel, and so many bad words.
Dhritarashtra, he's very learned. He's son of Vyasadeva. To be son of Vyasadeva, you need to be a great person, right? Not an ordinary. Dhritarashtra is not an ordinary person. He is directly son of Vyasadeva, and he knows so many things. Only one reason why everything didn't work for Dhritarashtra is his strong
Dhritarashtra.
attachment. Yeah. Otherwise, all other things, he had so much power, mental power, and he has so much abilities. That is the reason he could produce so many Kshatriyas. They are not some, Kshatar Bandhus or some ordinary people. His sons are all Kshatriyas. To give birth to a Kshatriya, you need to be qualified also. So he could give such powerful Kshatriyas. Of course, they had demonic mentality, that's a different thing. But the product came as Kshatriyas, very powerful Kshatriyas, not ordinary. And Duryodhana was not an ordinary. So the point is, he has that ability, but there was always that freedom, whether we use it properly or not. So Dhritarashtra, in spite of knowing all these things, when Sanjay tells, to Dhritarashtra, no, this is the essence of Vedas, this is this. Dhritarashtra says, don't you know that? What do you think? I don't know the Vedas. I know the Vedas. My father itself is the author of all the Vedas. So I know all the Vedas, but I cannot follow it because I am attached. And that is the point. He knows Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead also, but he cannot follow it because of his attachment. So it's a very, very typical example. Instead of knowing everything, we are also attached. So that the Dhritarashtra mentality is there in all of us. Knowing all these things, still
Yeah,
we say okay. Like that.
so the Dharma Kshetra, Kurukshetra, question, he knows that he's going to lose. Still he's asking to Sanjaya, Mama ka Pandavas. And Sanjay gives the answer in the last, Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna. So many things spoken in the end, he's telling. So Dhritarashtra knew that he will lose.
So like there is Vyadiraja Tirtha. He was having Hayagriva deity, and he was regularly used to worship. One time he went to Pandharpur, and uh, he was staying in an ashram. So every day, one day one peasant came running. The nearby, he was a peasant, the farmer. He came running to the ashram, and he told to Vyadiraj Tirtha that, no, I saw a horse in your one coming in the mud. Yesterday night, I was trying to protect, and it was eating my, whatever pulses I am growing there, and then chickpea actually. Then Vadratit understood it is high grave. He said, there is no horse, you won't go and check. So he said, okay, maybe it's my hallucination. So next day he saw, again he came running, he said, no, it is actually the horse.
Horse.
He said, then he said, okay, Vadratit, he said, okay, whatever your chickpeas are lost, you tell me, we'll pay the compensation. So he went to the farm, he saw, wherever the horse ate, there the gold was coming out. Then he came running and said, what is this? This is some special horse. Vyasadeva said, yes, this is Hayagriva. Then he did not believe. He said, no, how is it possible? He said, no, this is Hayagriva only. And then he warned him. Then the peasant says that, okay, tomorrow I am going to go and see it very closely. Vyasadeva warns him. If you go and see him closely, then you will become blind. He said, no problem. If I can get darshan of Lord once, I am ready to take the chance. And then next day night, whole day night, he was sitting in the middle of the night. The Hayagriva comes in the horse form, and then the peasant goes near, looking at it, and he takes the full darshan. And when he sleeps and wakes up, he becomes blind. Then he comes to Ashrama Vyasadhara Tirtha, and he says, "I got darshan, and but I am blind now." Then he says, "Oh, what happened?" He said, "No problem, because I got darshan of Lord once, and I don't want to see anything of this world." That is actually the qualification to get darshan of Lord. That means I am ready to sacrifice everything. I am ready to forgo everything. If I can get one moment darshan of Lord, I will just leave it. So that much intensity is there. The Lord is said, "Okay, fine, come, I'll give darshan." Knowing it, we are still attached. Then what can Lord do? And then every time it happens in every end of life, when Lord says, "Okay, come," we start crying. No, my wife, my husband, my children, my house. Lord says, "Oh, I thought you'll come to me." Lord says, "Okay, take it again." And again, birth he will give, and again he will give wife, children, house, everything. And every time we are crying for all these things, Lord will say, "I thought you'll come to me, life over. You'll come to me, but you are crying for something, all these things. What Lord can do?" Again, He gives all the things to us. Take it, take it, take another word, take another word. Every time he asks, "You want to come to me?" He said, "No, I want wife, children, husband." This is fine. That's actually the point. So the Trashtra is there in the heart of so many, especially in my heart.
So wonderfully said, Prabhu. Thank you. Thanks
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Hemangi Mataji, please go ahead with your questions, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you for the class. I think you partially answered my question just now. I was just trying to connect the dots based on your class. So basically, our karma and our desires are what are keeping us in this world, life after life, taking birth after birth. And then you said we have to elevate our consciousness to get out of this. So elevating our consciousness is by devotional service. Is that correct understanding, Prabhuji?
Yes, yes. That is the only thing we have to work. We have to work on our mind. We have to focus our mind on Krishna. We have to focus our mind on the holy name. That's the only thing we should do. And to the degree you are able to focus your mind on chanting, when you are chanting, your thoughts are no thoughts only about Krishna, then you are safe. And every day you do this exercise and focusing on Krishna, the 2 hours or more possible. You are able to focus. You are no need to do any other thing. That is sufficient.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Shivakumar Prabhu, please go ahead with your questions, Prabhu.
Thank you. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavats, Prabhu. Prabhu, one question from today's class, Prabhu. You were talking about being independent of external circumstances. To the extent we are free from the external circumstances, to that extent we'll be able to kind of approach Krishna. So I just wanted to understand, Prabhu, the agency of action is false ego, right, Prabhu, in general, at least for a materialist. Now, for a devotee, does that change, Prabhu, the agency of action itself?
Yeah, I wanted to take this topic, then I thought it will become big, so I didn't touch. So there are 5 things that motivates our action. There's a trigger, then there is then comes the we get the what do you say mm, the sorry what do you call you have access to it, not access, that we have the facility to do it, or you can call it accessibility. So more accessibility, then more there is a chance that we will do that activity. And the third motivation is third is the motivation to that activity for doing an action. And then fifth one is the investment. Sorry, fourth and the fifth is the ego. So this is how the 5 reasons. Like I will give an example. Say I saw a mango, then there is first a trigger. I want to eat. Then what is the accessibility for it? Accessibility is okay. I immediately have it in my fridge, refrigerator. Immediately I go and So if it is somewhere in the market, I have to go purchase, I have to drive all the way 10, 15 minutes and then come. Then there is a very less possibility that I'll eat it now. And then there is something called motivation. So I am like the FC, okay, today is, fasting day, why I should make so much endeavor. So I am not motivated. Then I may not do that activity. If I am motivated very strongly, no. So the motivation makes that's a factor. Like, wow, today's ice cream day. I should eat ice cream. So motivation is very strong, no matter how much far you go and do it. And then comes the investment. Like say drug addicts, what they do, they make the drug addicts and drug dealers. So they start doing it more nicely. Like say, I am watching Instagram. I may not so much get affected. I'm having some effect. But if I post my own photos in Instagram, I have my own videos there, then there is more possibility that I will be hooked to Instagram and Facebook and YouTube because I become an investor. And the most important factor is ego factor. This actually is what motivates us doing the activity. And we hear the outside psychologists, they don't understand this factor. They understand only the first four. The trigger, the accessibility, motivation, and investment. But the fifth one is the ego that we understand very nicely. Actually, that's why we need to take shelter of Guru, because that will make us develop a different ego only. Like there is one famous psychologist, he said, as long as I wanted to practice vegetarianism, it was becoming very difficult. But the day I said that I am a vegetarian, it became very easy.
Okay.
You're understanding? He said, as long as I try to practice, it was very difficult. But the moment I said I am a vegetarian, what happened? The ego changed. Now, what we are doing, we are saying I am a devotee now. I want to be a devotee, but now I am a devotee, but name is given. You are a servant of Guru. Now the ego changed. How can I behave like this? Because I am already a disciple of my Guru. I cannot behave like this. So your ego is strong, then it is actually safe, but in a right direction. So ego is a very important factor in our and performing an action. When you identify yourself with devotees, when you identify yourself with your Guru, that is actually very important. Strong ego is actually very helpful, but it should be rightly placed. Weak ego is actually already weak. Even outside world also, a person who is successful, they're all having very strong egos. That's why they can be successful. Even spiritual life also it works like that. So ego is a factor for our action out of the five.
Thank you so much. Great.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Let's see if there is any chat questions. I don't see anything in the chat. No chat. Devotees, yeah. Thank you so much. Dear devotees, anybody has any other questions or anything? If not, we can pay our obeisances to Prabhuji. Prabhuji, thank you so much for wonderful session, Prabhu. It is so engaging and very simple. At the same time, so many nice question and answers too. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Let's pay our obeisances to Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Kalpatarubhyascha kripasinubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Vaishnav Jai Shri Prabhupada ki Jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai.
Jai.
His Krishna
Radhe
Radha
Radhe.
Pramod
Radha
Prabhuji
Pramod
ki
Prabhuji ki
Jai.
Jai.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, Nityananda,
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Jai Jai
Radhe
Shri
Radhe.